Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Bubby is dog sitting his niece's Shih Tzu, so he couldn't make it this week. Me and Nick are filling in. Nick, through 4 starts, CJ Stroud has yet to throw an interception. Do you think he'll ever throw one in his career?
Yes. He will throw an interception in his career. Yes, he will.
And then speaking of rookie quarterbacks, Bryce Young's fumble led to a Vikings go-ahead touchdown as the Panthers fell to 0-4. Long term, who would you rather have, C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young?
Jeez. And that's the really tough part because long term, right now looking at it, you want Stroud. And the problem is that I think in the draft process, when we're looking at it, we are looking as if I'm a draft scout myself. Stroud, he doesn't have his knowledge of the playbook and how deep and read progressions wasn't great at Ohio State. Ohio State is more of a one-read throw. You see past people, quarterbacks like Pryor and stuff like that, just one-read throw. Justin Fields, one-read throw. If that, right? And Bryce, he has more dynamic scene. The problem is that you would hope that he could turn his ceiling could be Chargers Drew Brees. That's his ceiling to me. Chargers Drew Brees, accurate, good arm, but he was small and he didn't really read stuff that well. He's really tiny. Bryce Young is really small. So injuries will play a factor in his career. So looking at this now, because Bryce has missed games and he's got banged up, he can't see the field well, and also I would say that their receiving cores are about even on paper. Hell, the Panthers receiving core is probably better with DJ Shark, Adam Thielen. These are professionals that have been in the league for a long time. We have Nico Collins had his career high last week. Tank Dell, who's a rookie. Robert Woods, who was a good receiver, but he gets hurt every year.
Solid veteran. I think a huge difference is the head coaching. Frank Reich sucks, and
that's what's up.
DeMeco Ryans is probably
because you're talking DeMeco Ryans. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is for the Texans, but DeMeco is back home where he played his career, and the defense there is doing great. They are getting after it, and he's the defensive coordinator. So whoever's offensive coordinator is, I don't know who that person is, but that person's got him bought in.
Also, to DeMeco Ryans, it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is, because if they're playing good defense and controlling the game, that will work together with the offense. And plus, he hired the offensive coordinator. So, 4 games into his career, DeMeco Ryans looks like a top 10 head coach already. Just because on paper, they should be where the Panthers are, basically, at 0-4. Yes. And CJ Stroud looks very poised. In the small amount I've seen Stroud and Bryce Young, Stroud looks poised. Bryce Young looks lost. So on to Kyle Pitts. He was drafted 4th overall in 2021, which is insane for a tight end. Is he a bust or is he being misused?
He's being misused. That's it.
Think so?
At Atlanta, who was his quarterback since he's been drafted?
That's fair.
He had Ritter this year.
His best quarterback he's never played with yet, which is Heineke.
Exactly. Heineke's the best quarterback Atlanta's had in the last, 3 years. So he's in trouble because I think, 3 years ago when he got drafted, this is 3rd year, right? Yeah. When he got drafted, Matt Ryan was on the outs. They already let Matt Ryan go.
Yeah, he was cooked.
Right. So Mariota has always been known to not be that guy, and he didn't. And he was in his first year, he got hurt. He played some games, got hurt. Second season, he actually had a full plate. And, he does have 1,000 yards that season. It was a quiet 1,000, but it happened.
I'm not going to rule on Pitts yet. I have a crazy theory that makes no sense, but it sounds fun to say. Is he too big to be a wide receiver, but too small to be a tight end?
I would say it depends. It depends on the scheme he's in. Because I would say that people would say Mr. Pfizer, a.k.a. Travis Kelce, is a little too small to play tight end. But in Kansas City, they don't ask him to block. So if you ask
Yep.
me, hey, your top 5
That's
tight ends
fair.
of all time, Nick, Travis Kelce will be number 5. He won't go higher than that for me because he doesn't block. As a red zone threat, I think Antonio Gates is better. You have Shannon Sharp. He was fast and he blocked sometimes. Tony Gonzalez is probably there. He's in the conversation, probably like 1A, and then but Gronk was just a massive guy, and he could block like a left tackle.
If Gronk had been able to stay healthy, he would have easily been by far the best tight end ever. He was banged up a lot.
Like Kyle Pitts' ceiling to me is Jimmy Graham, and that's not bad because Jimmy Graham has well over I think he has 80 touchdowns or something in his career.
That's crazy.
He's a fancy Hall of Famer.
I got some numbers here though.
Go ahead.
So to Kyle Pitts, he has 11 catches, 121 yards, and 0 touchdowns on the season. Jonnu Smith, who's on the same team as Kyle Pitts on the Falcons, he has 15 catches on the season for... I'm really bad at math. Basically, 180 yards. He has 11 catches for 180 yards compared to Kyle Pitts' 11 catches, 121 yards. John Smith, he was off the scrap heap. But like you said, though, if Arthur Smith and the Falcons aren't using Pitts to block, Arthur Smith had Jonnu Smith in Tennessee, and he obviously, went and got someone he's familiar with to block.
Correct. And they use him. And you obviously tell that Desmond Ridder is, like I've said before at the very beginning of the season, they are tanking for a great quarterback. That's why they're rolling with Ridder, and it's we'll have some fun later on with Heineke, probably the last 4 games of the season. But think about Kyle Pitts' stats so far in these first 4 weeks, right? First game, 3 targets, 2 catches. Second game, 5 targets, 2 catches for 15 yards, okay? Oof. Third game, 9 targets, 5 catches for 41 yards. So that's barely 10 yards a catch, okay? In the last week against Jacksonville, 4 targets, 2 catches for 21 yards. Just again, barely 10 yards. This is a guy who ran a 4.6 at the combine. He's supposed to be 6'5" or something. He was this big, massive dude. How hard is it to run down the middle and just throw it up? There should be at least 15, 20 yards on the throw. And I make it sound easy. I'm not a guy, but still.
Especially for 2 weak-armed guys like Ridder and Heineke. He should be eating it up down there. Can't blame Heineke yet, though.
Yeah, we can't blame him yet.
Moving on to number 5, Jonathan Taylor. He returned to practice this week. He's currently on your fantasy roster. Are you starting him this week if he's active?
Yes, I am. I am definitely starting him. He is projected actually to get 15 points against Tennessee's 3rd-ranked run defense. So we'll see how that turns out. But with him and Anthony Richardson, maybe there might be some magic, some read option magic. Because Jonathan Taylor is he's a massive guy. So there might be some good stuff there.
And does Taylor's return make Zach Moss droppable, or do you hold tight? Zach Moss has had 72 touches in the last 3 weeks.
I think if you have
That's
Zach
insane.
Moss, you would still, if you could afford to keep him, keep him.
We have small benches in our league.
We have small benches in our league, but some leagues have large benches. Like in my other league I'm in, it has 7, 8 spots. So if you could afford to keep them, then I would, because depending on John Taylor does have a injury history. So if he gets banged up, you could throw him in, and you never know what kind of shares they might do with him. So it'd be interesting how that plays out.
Patrick Mahomes became the fastest player in NFL history to throw for 200 touchdowns. Do you have a guess as to whose record he broke?
He broke probably Peyton Manning's.
I can't believe I didn't write this down. I think I know it, though. And you're wrong. Do you want to take another guess?
All right. It's not Tom Brady. But I'm thinking about maybe Dan Marino.
Yeah, that's who it is.
All right. I know it's one of those people. There's certain, you're talking about speed of getting there. Peyton Manning had the touchdown record his rookie season, and then it got broken by Cam Newton in a single season. So, and then it got broken again Like, and then he had the most yards thrown, and then that got broken by Cam Newton, and now Stroud broke that. So it's like things are happening, but like the touchdown record's very sacred. Like it's harder to get the TDs in there. But yeah. I mean, to that, it's Mahomes is doing it. I don't think it's funny because I saw an interesting stat actually in the last game. This is the first time that in a game through college and NFL that he played against an opponent that had less interceptions than him, more completions, more yards, and more touchdowns thrown. He was like the Jets quarterback. I forgot his name. He outplayed him on paper. On paper, he beat him.
Zach Wilson. I have the list here. So Patrick Mahomes, 84th game. Marino, the record was 89. Aaron Rodgers got to 200 touchdowns in 99 career games. Okay. Your guess, Peyton Manning, did it in 106 games, and Brett Favre did it in 107 games.
I wouldn't picture Brett Favre on that list, but I guess so. Tom Brady didn't start lighting up touchdowns early. It took a while for him to get going.
Who will break Mahomes' record? Is that person born yet?
Maybe. It's hard to tell. The way the NFL is going right now, hell, it might be Arch Manning playing in Tennessee right now. It might be the USC quarterback out there who's supposed to be Mahomes 2.0. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right. Last one before we break into these box scores. Can you name the Raiders starting quarterback from this past Sunday?
Yes, AOC. It's like his initials are AOC, something like Adrian O'Connell.
Yeah, close enough. Aiden O'Connell. I'll give you that. I had no idea.
He was a preseason like darling. Like in preseason, he lit it up in preseason. It just in preseason you're going against the backup, so you win against backups.
Yeah.
The Oakland Raiders are a bad team.
I have that written down here. He was an NFL preseason passer rating leader. They started O'Connell over Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer is winless in his last 12 starts. That's not good.
But now Brian Hoyer is now on the level that remember we talked about. Is he a successful quarterback or not? He getting them checks. I guess he is. Like for whatever reason, he's getting a job. Like
he's been in the league like 20 years now.
It feels like it. I know he's been in the league. He's Brian Hoyer's got to be like 36. Like
easy.
Straight up, like, yeah, all right, cool. Let me hold a clipboard for the league minimum $1.2 million. I'm just enjoying like holding a clipboard because he played for the Browns, he's played for the Patriots. I mean, Texans. Like he just keeps, him starting is like a nightmare. He's like, I don't want any of this. I don't want to be exposed at being really bad because they're gonna kick me out. I'm like Chase Daniel. Was like Mr. Get him. He was Mr. Get him checks, and he got exposed, and now he's on television now because no one's like, you're done. We've seen your scheme, sir. You need to get out of here.
Brian Hoyer is a poor man's Josh McCown.
Because Brian Hoyer is nowhere as good as Josh McCown was. I would say
nowhere. That's why I said poor man's.
Oh man, I would say more comparable to like Luke McCown. The other McCown. Boat. Yeah, just like hey dude, don't start. Don't start. If you don't start, you know what I mean? It's, you can make I think we should make an all-time, like, backup list one day. Like, top 5 backup quarterbacks. They're backup quarterbacks. If you want him to be a backup, he'd be great. You don't want him to start, but if he's a backup, you feel real good about him.
So I don't think NFL teams should retire jersey numbers. There's just too many guys. And this is like a super special case like Sean Taylor. But do you think it was a cold move to give Aiden O'Connell Derek Carr's number already? Like, they claimed to love Carr as they shoved him out the door, and then they just gave his number to the first guy who walked in the door.
Oh, no. His number was fair game.
Derek
Carr isn't Oakland Raider Ring of Honor. I mean,
I get it.
Look, I like Derek Carr. He's a Saint player now, so I don't like him. But before he was Saints player, I liked him. He has moxie. He could throw a ball.
He's not terrible.
I mean, he's not terrible. It's just he's just an average QB. I think he has he's above average QB, but it's just he's never tied it together. When he had it good, the defense was bad. And then when he wasn't good, the defense was really good. And it's always not played out for him. And in Oakland, I think he has 0 playoff wins. So you can't be in the Ring of Honor on offense at quarterback and without, a win. At least you would get in the Ring of Honor if you have a record, maybe. But I don't even think he owns Oakland Raider, because there's a lot of Oakland Raider quarterbacks been out there. Jim Plunkett, has a couple of them trophies there for them. Stabler. I mean, that's tough.
Rich Gannon
was an MVP. Right. He took him to the Super Bowl and he's an MVP. So it's like, I think he's in the Ring of Honor and he deserves that. So it's like, well, it's interesting. They also, they retired J.J. Watt in Texas.
Did they retire his number, though, or just throw his name up there?
I think they retired his number up there. You saw he's in the Ring of Honor. He's in the Ring of Honor. There should be another,
That's
but
fair.
they should not be another number 99 in Texans. And I'm okay
well,
with that.
Well, hold out on giving it away. There's just too many football players to retire numbers. Like, there's 60 guys if you count the practice squad.
But you're talking about retired. No, it's not, because not everybody's numbers get retired. Certain players, J.J. Watt number deserves to be retired. No one should be that. As a Buccaneer fan, no one should have 99. Warren Sapp, Defensive Player of the Year, done. Number 55,
has anybody
Derek
worn
Brooks, done. Nope, it's done.
Has anybody worn Barber's number?
No, it's number 20. No, it's Barber, Hall of Famer, done.
What about Dilfer?
No, there's Trent Dilfer, yes.
Did you see that clip of him last week on the sideline going nuts?
Yes, and people like this. Well, he did it. He did it in high school. So what are you talking about? In a high school game. So what do you mean? You're mad he's doing it at a college game? I want to know what made him that mad, because he was a little young. That
dude has kicked a dog before. I don't care what anybody says. Allegedly.
Allegedly, it's you don't know, but you kind of have a good feeling he did. But definitely, I think teams should retire numbers, but only in extreme cases. When Mike Evans is a Buccaneer, his number 13 retired. Mr. 1000, his number will be retired.
How about this? You can only have your number retired if you win a Super Bowl with that franchise.
No, because you have great players that don't win a Super Bowl.
I compromised.
Jason Taylor for Miami Dolphins did not win a Super Bowl with him, but he has over 100 sacks with that team by itself.
That means they were all meaningless. All meaningless sacks.
Oh, no. Don't say it. That's terrible.
Yeah, if it were on FanDuel, though, like, did Dilfer kick a dog? Like, yes or no? I $100 bet. I'm putting it down.
$100 bet. Let's look it up.
Yeah, the box scores now. The first matchup is Fresh Meat. That's me versus the Punishers. I lost this game in heartbreaking fashion. I fell to 1-3. We're gonna break down the standings a little bit later. I'm a damn good 1-3. I love my team. I usually hate my team. I love my team this year, but I'm losing. I would have won this game if Kenneth Walker's opening 73-yard touchdown run had stood. It got reversed, and it caused me to lose this game 160 to 151. Lamar Jackson, 35 points, 4 touchdowns. He's really breaking into midseason form now. Terry McLaurin, who I had got in a trade last week, 8 catches, 86 yards. He even fell on a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown. He got me 22 points. Waddle was disappointing in his return from a concussion in a lopsided Miami loss to Buffalo. 4 catches, 46 yards, 8 points. James Cook, 17 points. He scored his first touchdown of the season. And this didn't affect my box score at all, but it's kind of alarming. I had 5 active players on my bench, and they combined for 18 points.
Yeah, I mean, your team, it's Lamar Jackson's stat line to me is crazy, because for 186 yards total, and then he has 4 total touchdowns, so get 35 points is just crazy, because he wasn't super effective, but he did just enough against that Cleveland defense.
He's very efficient.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Punishers, CeeDee Lamb, just getting that, like, the only offensive touchdown, really. He just got that, just enough to float over. A little concerning about Myers' value with Oakland imploding on themselves. That could be bad times over the horizon.
Yeah, they got a shitty head coach.
Yeah. Evan Ingram, actually, 7 catches is actually impressive, because he's never been great at catching the ball. So giving 7 catches is awesome. With Brandon McManus, 14 points. A lot of damage there out there in London.
McManus made all 5 of his kicks for 14 points. And remember, we said we would have rage dropped him last week after he went 1 for 3. So good on the Punishers for holding on to McManus because he bounced
holding
back.
tight. Yeah, sometimes you got to hold tight, Both his defenses, he has 2 defenses, and they both scored 28 points.
Kyron Williams, 37 points, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. That might be the waiver claim of the year. Herbert, 17 points. Is that right? How many points did Herbert have?
28 points.
Yeah.
Like 3 total
3
touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. He fractured his finger, though, trying to tackle somebody. What are you doing, dude?
He's stiff-arming people. He was running. He had like 2 stiff arms in that game. He had also a person gave him a late hit. But he did fracture a finger in a non-throwing hand, so that's saving grace. So if he toughs the season out, he'll definitely get a Iron Man award for that.
On to the next one. We have Showtime versus Buck. What you think? Showtime is 2-1. They scored 135 points, so you're 104. You're 1-3. You've lost 3 in a row. The big news out of this one is the Clams have rebranded. They are now known as Showtime. I like the new name.
Josh Allen, 47 points. Is he the top fantasy player this week?
So he was the first quarterback taken in the draft, and you especially kind of questioned it. But it looks like a good pick here.
That's just 1 week.
But yeah, right.
1 week.
But
right.
47 points, like he won the game basically because of him.
All right, okay. It happens. 5 total touchdowns, crazy. He's great.
Crazy.
Stevenson, the Patriots, they just shit the bed. Sanders, not a good outing for him. Keenan Allen, boom and bust, man. He had an awesome week last week. This week was a little more quiet, a little more pedestrian. 3 for 32 and a
I wouldn't call this a bust, though. This was a solid 3 catches for 32 yards. Isn't great, but he fell in the end zone. 12 points. I mean, to me, anytime you get in double digits, it's a win, even if it's just 10.
Yeah. Komet with 27 points, huge.
Yeah, that's huge. Breakout game. He had 20 points in his first 3 games, 27 in this one, 7 catches, 9 targets, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Huge. Like Fields was having his best career game throwing, so it was amazing to see how that played out. He had Buffalo's defense and their head coach, but he didn't play the defense. He played Cincinnati defense instead. Kirk Cousins has been kind of slumping a little bit with 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So that's tough. He's coming back down to earth. Kirk Cousins was lighting it up, and on good times for him over the horizon, he has Cooper Kupp coming back.
What happened to you?
Jared Goff, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I guess they were grounding the game out on Green Bay. It's not a shootout, I guess. I saw something from the Minnesota running back, 95 yards, solid. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I had that in my notes. He held off Cam Akers.
Yeah, hold him off, so that's good. A little competition's good. Jay Williams for Denver, though, was also questionable and had, nothing happening, so I don't even understand what's going on there.
He left with a hip flexor.
Yeah, but he said it's a non-problem, so he'll be back next week, but jeez. Tyreek Hill, I think
he's coming off a big injury, too.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, I think he was just doubled. Buffalo made sure that Tyreek Hill won't be the reason we lose this game, so they were all over him. Tank Dell had a soft game against Pittsburgh. Mike Evans, he had a hamstring issue. He got removed a little bit after the first quarter, so they were attacking him with Marshawn Lattimore. I did have a Bucs defense. So 24 points solid against New Orleans there. Calvin Ridley had 2 catches for 38 and a touchdown. His targets are going way down. He only had 2 targets for two catches. So I don't know what's up with that. Drake London, 3 for 28 with a touchdown. He had 7 targets. So he's getting the target. He's getting the volume. It's just the yardage is terrible. Robert Woods, he rounds up my team with just 3 catches for 26 yards. It's a very soft week. I dropped Robert Woods today because he's 3rd in pecking order. The young guns are kind of getting more looks, more targets than he is.
Especially, you don't want to live in a world where you're playing 2 Texans receivers in 1 week, Dell and Woods.
Their offense is not that. We can't pretend.
They're up in upcoming startup story, but yeah, they're not. They have a lot to prove. You have the receiver depth to weather a Mike Evans injury, though. Plus, they're on the bye this week, right?
Yeah, they're on bye, so he'll have a week and some change to get healthy. So that's good.
Moving on to the Boy Scout trombones versus Smash Hawk. This was a close game, 105-100. Smash Hawk took the victory. He moved to 4-0. There's 2 4-0 teams in our league. We're only playing 12 regular season games this year because of our 13-team madness. So a third of the way of the season, you're undefeated. That's pretty good. Boy Scout trombones fall to 1-2. Joe Burrow is his starting quarterback. Last week, Boy Scout trombone started Sam Howell, and he got a 2. This week, Sam Howell got 27 points on the bench. You're not going to start him over Burrow most weeks, but he might have to start thinking about it. Burrow is the 31st ranked fantasy quarterback on ESPN.
Oh my God! This gives the nail. I would say looking at the box score, you're seeing 105-100. This is your nail biter award for the week. You're like, oh my God, they were looking at this on and on. But if I'm Boy Scout trombone, I am just sick. I don't understand how you don't start Puka. I don't understand.
Yeah, I have that note here.
I don't understand that. Like you have to. He's been so red hot. You know, he was from jump. He's been getting at least 8 targets a game, at least, right? So you're telling me that this guy had 9 catches last game. He had 10 targets, 9 catches.
He would have won the game on the 9 catches alone without even the receiving yards or the touchdown. That would have been
right.
109-105.
Do you know Puka has been targeted 52 times this year? 52. It's been 4 weeks. We could
put him in the Hall of Fame now, the Fantasy Hall of Fame.
He's on track for 200 targets. If he played the way he played the rest of the year and kept going, he'd have over 200 targets, and he would be competing against Marvin Harrison for most catches in the year as a rookie. Ridiculous shit.
So he played Jerome.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he played Jerome Ford at the flex. Jerome Ford is doing everything he can to give this job to Kareem Hunt. 2 games since Chubb got hurt. Ford has 19 carries for 44 yards.
Is it the Browns offense line that's not the Browns offense is a bit anemic, man. They're just not it. Especially this past week with Watson being hurt. So thanks, Mr. Guaranteed Money, for missing a game. But now they brought in another preseason darling who was lighting up the preseason, but then you realize that he's more of a project, guys, and Baltimore brought him way back down to earth, and they just kind of keyed in on, like, we're going to stack the box, and we're going to make this rookie throw.
Yep. Adam Thielen had another nice game, 14 points. He's the 10th ranked fantasy wide receiver on ESPN, which is kind of crazy. He also benched the Miami head coach versus Buffalo. That was very wise.
Smart. Yeah, it's a toss-up. Yeah, I would have done the same.
Over to Smash Hawk. He released Geno Smith today, so no more quarterback controversy for him. He's rolling with Dak, it looks like. Geno had 13 points and Dak had 21. He had started Geno this week. The Seahawks have a bye, so he might be able to go back and get him if he wants. Sometimes I'll drop guys thinking I can go back and get him. Josh Jacobs is alive. 33 points.
He, like Josh Jacobs, did a lot of that damage in the air because his rushing yards wasn't fantastic, but he had 11 targets. 11 targets, 8
rookie
catches
quarterback
for 81
off
yards. For 81 yards, so it's like he had almost 150 all-purpose yards. So Josh Jacobs had himself a day.
0 from Debo. That's tough.
Jesus,
it almost cost him.
You know, and that's tough because we talked about the idea that Brock Purdy has a better relationship with IU, so he doesn't look like Jimmy Garoppolo like Debo, so it's weird. The idea that he's zero, shit.
Bryce Hall, he played at the flex spot. He averaged 9 yards a carry. The only problem is he only got 6 carries. This was the first game since me and Smash Hawk made the trade for McLaurin. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious how Hall's going to do. Wilson was
Yeah.
much improved. So that offense might go up a tick.
Yeah, Wilson, if they keep with the confidence and Brees Hall being explosive, that could be something. I think the anomaly for me looking at Smash Hawkins roster, TJ Hawkinson, just 2 catches. I mean, Kirk Cousins isn't helping himself here by not throwing to TJ. So I don't understand how that's happening. So that's weird. His kicker almost like shit the bed from as well with only 2 extra points. No field goals at all. But yeah, you got the win though, so you escape to fight on another day.
4-0. We got another rebrand here. ESPN's garbage is now Pit Sweat. Pittsburgh pun, being from Pennsylvania. So we have Pit Sweat now. Pit Sweat is 2-1. They scored 158 against Mile High Salute, who has lost 3 in a row to fall to 1-3, 158 to 110. Big news for Pit Sweat is Alvin Kamara returned, 25 points, but there's a huge problem here. He caught 13 passes for 33 yards.
That's an NFL
How
record.
is that possible?
NFL record.
For suck.
They said that the previous was 13. Like if you have like more than 13 targets, you minimum least amount was 71 yards. So
that's like 1920s offense. I know Carr hurt his shoulder last week, but if that's all he can do, like, don't play him. It's really that simple.
A lot of those catches were negative yards, though. He'd catch it, and then it'd be negative. Or a catch is considered a catch is considered a jet sweep. So if he's in shotgun and he runs past him, he throws him forward for him to catch the ball and run around. That's a catch. That's cheating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, I think that's cheating fantasy-wise. It's kind of like how Rajon Rondo got all these assists when he played on the Celtics because he literally just handed the ball to Ray Allen to jack a shot up. That's an assist. Like, you're cheating. But nevertheless, Alvin Kamara, nice PPR action there.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes had a down week and still got 19. Chris Olave, back to the Saints issues here. 1 point, 1 catch, 4 yards. That is brutal.
Buck shut him down.
Yeah. A.J. Brown picked up Olave's slack, though. Philly was picking on Washington rookie cornerback Emmanuel Forbes to the tune of 9 catches for 175 yards for 2 touchdowns. I watched this game. It was A.J. Brown show. Pacheco, potential breakout here. 32 points, 115 yards with a touchdown. If an Andy Reid running back can get rolling, Pit Sweat has something on their hands here with Pacheco.
If he can. I'm just scared because we're not going to see another, like, Brian Westbrook. I mean, it's not going to be that because they have the way the quarterback play, the way Mahomes plays, is just he passed the ball around too much. So you're going to have these anomaly games where he's going to do that. And then it might be McKinnon or it might be Travis Kelce one game. It's just the way he shares the ball is tough. They're not going to key in on it like that. Matty Gay, lights out last week. He missed his field goal this week to give him a nice 0, which is tough.
Yeah, I had that noted too. On to Mile High Salute. He made a big trade Sunday morning, but it couldn't go through because Romeo Doubs had locked. He received Brian Robinson Jr. and Romeo Doubs from Dead Money for Saquon Barkley. What do you think about the trade?
We'll see how it plays out. Saquon Barkley, he's boom or bust. You have to deal with the idea that he gets hurt, but when he plays, they're gonna feature him. They won't pay him, but they'll feature him.
Yeah, that Giants offense is not looking good. Brandon, Mile High Salute, also lost Higgins to a fractured rib, and he lost Pat Freiermuth, who is already doubtful for this week with an injury. Higgins and Freiermuth combined for 6 points before their injuries. Deshaun Watson also missed this game, so you can see why Mile High Salute made the trade. He had 4 injured guys and was able to get Doubs and Robinson back for this week. Robinson has a late bye week, too, which has to help.
Brandon Ayuk, though, solid 20 points, 6 catches, 148. That's a career high for him. So, all right. Jordan Love, he's showing some A little
He's
bit of
steady.
gunslinger. Yeah, he's showing some gunslinger there. 246 yards, 2 total touchdowns. So if you can find the end zone like that, that's pretty good. I would sell stock of the New Orleans defense, though. They're a bit old. When your 3 best players on your team are all old guys, it's a problem.
I have a note on the Saints. There's a guy at work who's a Saints fan, and we were talking about the Saints today. So the Saints head coach is Dennis Allen, who previously coached the Raiders, and he had a terrible record there. It was like 14-44 or something absurd. And the Saints quarterback is Derek Carr, obviously the Raiders quarterback. When teams copy other teams, they generally copy teams that win. Why are the Saints copying the Raiders? Usually you copy the Rams, the Chiefs, the Packers. These are all hot teams to copy the last few years. They're copying the Raiders.
In fairness, Sean Payton's hired Dennis Allen. So
yeah, but the ownership.
Sean Payton hired him, and then when Sean Payton stepped down, instead of hiring somebody new, they're like, "Well, we'll roll with Dennis Allen," because I think they still owed Sean Payton money, and then whatever. So they're like,
"This has happened in the past, though. When Joe Gibbs retired, the then Redskins rolled with Richie Pettibone, and after 1 year, they're like, "Yeah, we're not doing this. You obviously were riding Joe Gibbs's coattails." There's some other scenarios where a guy was one and done after being promoted to the top job.
Well, I think there's definitely lots of examples. I think that happened in Arizona when Bruce Arians retired again. I think the next guy took over and was like, "No, we're not gonna do this." So it's just, the Saints, the glory days are done now. The Roosters have come home now. It's over. The older players, they're getting older. They have to get younger. They need youth movement. Derek Carr still is owed in the next 2 years $86 million.
Yep.
So it's a lot of money still tied up there.
They should have cut Thomas. They should have cut Carr. They should have never signed Carr.
Right. I think Alvin Kamara's a free agent. I think he's a free agent next year.
Just let him walk or trade him at the deadline.
You're going to let him walk. That's what's going to be. Your defensive end, Cam Jordan, I think he's in his 30s. He's counting a lot for the cap. Your inside linebacker, he lost step, and I think they have my man from LSU, the Honey Badger, as one of their free safeties. I
have a quick story.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I was out back where we used to work. I would name it, but there's no free plugs. Shout out Mountain Dew, Baja Blast.
Damn right.
I was out back taking out the trash, and the garbage man came up. And he was like, "My son's getting drafted today." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "My son, NFL draft." So I looked at his name on his name tag, and I clocked it in my brain, and I was like, I'm going to see where this dude gets drafted. It was Marvin Mitchell. Do you remember him?
Marvin Mitchell?
He was a special team player on the Saints. He won a Super Bowl with them. He was there for like 7 years.
No,
but
I remember him.
I saw his dad collecting trash on the day his son got drafted. How amazing is that?
That's wild. No, I never. Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
So moving on to dead money versus stealing the wins. Both teams are 2-2 after this game. Stealing the wins showed out. They won 40 high fives, 190 to 146. Dead money has lost 2 in a row. Anthony Richardson, though, I saw the most of him I've seen this season. Oh, wow. The Colts have something in him, I think. He left me kind of speechless with as much as I saw. He could fling it. He can run. He's RG3 with an arm and a frame. 37 points, 3 touchdowns.
Jury's still out for me.
Obviously.
But
I'm buying stock.
I'm not going to buy stock yet. I think there's you beating up on the Rams. I'm not going to I'm not going to buy that. I just think that I saw he had one throw where it was like if the corner just turned his head, he would have caught the ball. But in fact, the corner didn't turn his head, then boom. It's an amazing catch. Same thing happened Monday night against Seattle with the Giants, whatever, when Geno threw the ball to Metcalf. And if the corner would have turned around, the ball would have right to him. But it zipped right by his head, and Metcalf caught it. But hey, man, 3 total touchdowns. And I'm pretty sure that offensive coordinator is going to dial stuff up to use him at his best. And with Jonathan Taylor coming, they could be a problem if their defense figures themselves out. Because giving up 23 points a game, the way the Colts have been doing, which is kind of weird. I don't know.
I played their defense this week. That was a huge mistake.
Derrick Henry, though, came back. All hail the king. 2 total touchdowns.
He 34 points.
He had more passing touchdowns than Joe Burrow that game.
Oh, wow. DJ Moore also 27 points on the bench. That's tough leaving that many points on your bench, especially from a high draft pick, but he had been struggling so bad. At least he's not a ghost,
Right. But see, that's the problem, because you're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh man, he scored me these points." So next week you'll start him, and Justin Fields will play like hot garbage next week. He'll have 2 catches for 15 yards, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, what have I done?" You know what I mean? And it's just it's tough. You know what I mean? Because that quarterback is just so helter-skelter with that. But he has some good consistency with Brian Robinson Jr. He has a gamer with him. He's been very consistent.
He traded him.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So Amari Cooper finally came down to earth without Watson. I was shitting on him in the preseason, so I can celebrate it a little bit here. 2 points. And you just mentioned Robinson, who he traded for Barkley. Pollard, Barkley, and Henry could be a problem for the league if they all reach their potential on Dead Money's roster.
Correct. Absolutely.
Stealing the wins, though. CMC, 56 points, 4 touchdowns. That's your high points. Allen would have been second to this.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was wrong. If we redrafted today, McCaffrey's going number 1, easy.
He's on your no draft list, okay? So, I think it's fair game to say, all right, you have McCaffrey. It's still early, so it's still early. Hopefully, he survives the season. He survives the season, comes out because right now they're saying early MVP talks him. I don't know about that, but hey, McCaffrey's showing out. He had a lot of catches too, so it was just the way Arizona was playing. They just whatever. My man had Baker Mayfield starting quarterback here. He lost Aaron Rodgers week 1, so he picked up the bakery's been open in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And Baker gives you some quiet running stats too, because he had 30 yards rushing, so that's quietly happening. Najee Harris, he will take over the new title of the Walking Dead, because Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to run him into the ground. Their offense is anemic, and he's going to run to a brick wall and grind out every yard. 71, but it's going to be tough times.
Yeah, ARSB and Godwin were also solid. Darren Waller is fake news. 3 catches, 21 yards. He's one of the biggest preseason busts, especially a tight end. Khalil Herbert had a day, 103 yards, caught a touchdown, 27 points. That's pretty big, because it looked like he was starting to lose carries to Roschon Johnson.
Yeah.
And back to McCaffrey real quick. He extended that touchdown streak we talked about last week.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Huh. All right. Well, good for him.
And then I had one more note on stealing the wins. He left the Bengals head coach on the bench again. I'm growing more and more fascinated by this usage and rostering every week. It's paying off, though.
It's paying off, but he can save that spot because he's waiting for the Bengals to turn it around and start winning. But that means he still has Bengals stock. He still has faith. He had A-Chain on the bench.
Ooh.
With 2 touchdowns, 101 yards. 28 points. It's almost time to decide, is Najee going to take a seat for him? Is he a Pittsburgh guy?
Yep. Yeah, stealing the wins.
And that's why, yeah, it is. So that's why he's never going to sit him. But A-Chain deserved the spot. I did call last week. I said Chris Godwin could have a good week this week. And I was like, boom. That's my pick to click. Because, hey, I thought I was going to do it. And Chris Godwin came through. Darren Waller is a victim of Danny Dimes being bad. Earlier today on First Take, Stephen A. Smith called him Danny Crimes because he's robbing the New York Giants, and Danny Crimes was trending on Twitter this morning. Because it's tough. They owe him a lot of money, and they can't get rid of him. And my man, beyond the idea that the Oakland Raiders pretty much sent Khalil Mack to the Pro Bowl this year, now the Seattle's defense is like, oh, look how great we are. Are we? I mean, y'all had 10 sacks, but you guys aren't that good. It's just Danny sucked.
Yeah, the dead money controversy between Rodgers and Danny Crimes is about settled, or Richardson and Danny Crimes is about settled. He's got to be rolling with Richardson for the foreseeable future. Jones might even be droppable in a week or two. So, on to the Renegades of Funk versus Sweetness 34. This was a 134-76 victory for Renegades of Funk, the second 4-0 team in our league. 4-0 is huge. Like, Smash Hawk and Renegades of Funk can start selling playoff tickets because 4-0 in a 12-game season. Yeah, but like you said, a shellacking, though. Sweetness 34, he played the Miami defense, which got a -13. That's an ouch. But I tried to find some positives here. Well, I found 2 positives and some more negatives. Brock Purdy, 27 points. Like, he's a viable fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
And then Bijan, he's living up to the hype, 22 points, 105 yards.
Atlanta's using him.
There's a historic statistical anomaly where he left Fields on the bench and Nico Collins on the bench. They outscored his starters, basically, right?
They almost did.
76
they're
75.
1 point off. Yeah, they're 1 point off. Yeah.
Ouch. And then he got 0 from Jordan Addison, who only got 1 target. The Vikings weren't throwing very much, though. On to the 4-0. Yeah. On to the 4-0 Renegades of Funk. His top 4, so his QB, RB 1 and 2, and wide receiver 1 and 2, they combined for 111 of his 134 points. David Montgomery returned from his injury early. He was supposed to miss multiple weeks. He only missed 1. 46 points, 32 carries, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. 32 carries in the year 2023.
And somewhere, the people that drafted Gibbs in the first round, they are trying to burn down ESPN.
Buyer beware on rookie running backs, but it seems to have paid off with Bijan here. Gabe Davis, 3 catches, 61 yards. Back to the Renegades of Funk. Gabe Davis, 3 for 61 yards and a touchdown. 3 touchdowns in 4 games. Russell Wilson is the 7th-ranked ESPN fantasy quarterback, 31 points on his bench. Second time in 3 weeks over 30 points. That's pretty crazy. I wouldn't have guessed that. I
mean, they've been playing from behind all the last 2 weeks. So I guess he has no choice but to throw the ball. So that's a thing.
I play Renegades of Funk this week.
-3 from Pittsburgh defense. I think it's time to sell the stock in Pittsburgh. Michael Pittman Jr., 4 points, though. 1 catch, 15 yards. That's something to look out for.
Yeah, that's not good.
Because I wonder who Anthony... Because they had a Instagram picture where, like, them two were, like, kind of like brothers. They were, like, doing the Step Brothers. Like, I guess they copied their faces over Step Brothers. So it was like, hey, we're close and we're tight. But it's like one catch for 15 yards. It's like, do you even see me?
So that's it for the box scores. On to the standings notes. There's 2 4-0 teams, 5 2-win teams, and 6 1-win teams. I'm not going to say I like the bye weeks because it's terrible, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's thrown like a wrench into the season that is kind of fun. Like, it's messed up the waiver order. It's messed up the points. It's messed up. It'll all be cool in the end, but as we get there, it's kind of messy, and it's like a new wrinkle we've never experienced before.
Correct.
The Punishers are 2-2. They're the only team to have scored 600 points and the only team to have allowed over 600. That is some tough shit. He should be 4-0.
Christ.
Fresh Meat 1-3. I'm second in points scored and I'm tied for second in points against. So I'm like the Punisher's sidekick basically for
pretty much
just tough luck.
People are having really good weeks when you're having them as well.
And then not really any waiver wire recommendations for me this week. There's a couple decent wide receivers, but meh. Tight end Hunter Harvey is a top 5 tight end. I'm kind of surprised he's out there. But it's the Patriots offense, so, like, do you really want a part of that shit show?
There was that. ESPN said that the backup running back for Henry is a person he should pick up.
Tajay Spears, yeah.
He keeps getting on the field, so it's like, I know in a lot of leagues, Dotson. A lot of people don't have Dotson rostered, but the way Howell's been playing, he might be worth something. And was it Dobbs, quarterback for Arizona, has been points. He's been money. You know what I mean? Arizona's not winning games.
Who would you rather play, Dobbs or Burrow?
I'm starting Dobbs. Like, you're talking about next week.
Crazy.
I'm starting Dobbs. It sounds crazy, but you're talking about in the last. This is Dobbs' stat line. The first 4 weeks: 5 points, 31 points, 22 points. That was a Dallas game, and then 33 points again. And that's against the Niners. 33 against the Niners. You know what I mean? Because he gave you 12 rushes for 48 yards. He's a running back. He's a poor man Lamar Jackson. You can't afford Lamar Jackson.
There's some interesting niche guys here. The Lions head coach has a good matchup against the Panthers. The Commies have the Bears on Thursday.
I picked up Washington last week, knowing that my Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be on a bye. So I was like, I picked up and stashed them because I was like, I don't play the roster. I'm gonna think ahead.
And the up-and-coming Texans head coach has the flailing Falcons. I almost picked up the Texans against the Steelers last week, but I went for the Ravens over the Browns, who are playing their backup quarterback. So that brings us to our Hall of Fame nomination.
All right. So
you ready?
It's your time this time. Yeah.
We need some music here for the Hall of Fame.
We got to figure.
I'm excited about this one.
We need some non-copyright music just to play in the background. It sounds like football as.
Right. So I got Marion Barber III. It's too distracting. Yeah, I love this dude. I love watching this guy run. He's Marion the Barbarian. Let me get the sad part out of the way. He tragically passed away in 2022 at the age of 38 of heat stroke. He often exercised in sauna-like conditions, and according to police, his thermostat was set to 91 degrees when he was found. So, R.I.P. Marion Barber. But let's get to the fun stuff. Played 7 seasons in the NFL, 6 with Dallas, 1 final season with the Bears in 2011. Drafted 4th round, pick 109 out of Minnesota, where he teamed with Lawrence Maroney to form one of the college football's best running back duos. A 2007 Pro Bowler. 4,780 career rushing yards and another 1,330 receiving yards. And they were all hard fought. Nobody ran harder than this dude. 59 career touchdowns. He's from a football family. His dad, brother, and cousin all saw time in the NFL. And he led the NFC with 14 rushing touchdowns in 96. So welcome to the Hall of Fame, Marion Barber III.
Yeah, man. Welcome, man. And, RIP. He ran hard. Like he ran his steps were really wide, so he looked like he was like always moving side by side. He runs very much like Marshawn Lynch did. He was from within 5 yards. He was automatic. So a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans remember that. If you're within 5 yards, he's gonna get there for you. The problem for him when he played on Dallas, their quarterback game was not good. I think that was when they had Drew Bledsoe. They had was it Quincy Carter?
Romo was his quarterback.
Romo?
Basically, so his whole career.
Oh, wow.
His career was like 06 to 2011.
Okay. 06, 2011. That's a short career. How many touchdowns do you have again?
59 career total. 14
59.
in one season. Jeez. He was catching a lot of dump-offs.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He had I remember in the Bears game, he was the guy that couldn't get out of bounds. There was some kind of crazy game. He had to get out of bounds, and he fell forward, and he's like, he didn't get out of bounds, and the Bears lost because they couldn't stop the clock or something there was something that happened like that. He couldn't get out of bounds.
He's probably my favorite Cowboy of all time, maybe.
For real?
Yeah. I can't think anybody I like more than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hats off, Marion Barber. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.